Here's my people for my speech. Hello, welcome. Did you know 1 out of 3 women don't know how to change a flat tire? So today I'm going to show you how to do that. My assistant here is my brother. He's going to go through the actions as I tell you what we're doing. So the first thing you need to do is locate your tools. You'll need a jack, you'll need a tire tool, and then if you have fancy wheels, you'll need your lug lock. Usually you keep this in your glove box. Don't ever keep it inside the house. You stay with the car. So to find those tools, you need to consult your book in your car, your owner's manual. They'll show you where they're located. Also show you where your spare tire is located. Because without any of that stuff, you really can't change a spare tire. So we've already located our stuff. We have our jack. We have all our tools necessary. First thing we're doing, we're going to find our jack point for our jack. And we're going to place our jack there. So we're at our jack point. We found that again in our book. You don't want to jack anywhere else because you could damage your fuel tank, your brake lines. You can damage a lot of stuff. So make sure the jack goes exactly where it needs to go. Okay, before we jack up the car, we need to go ahead and loosen the nuts or your lugs. If you jack it up and try to loosen your lugs, your tires sit there and spin. And it'll be almost impossible to loosen the lugs. So we'll get Doug here. He's going to take the cover off to expose the lugs. And not all wheels have a cover covering the lugs. So if you can't see them, then of course you got to get to them. But if you do see them, then hey, they're already there. And again, this wheel has security lugs. So we'll have to use the key. And again, right now we're just going to loosen the lugs. We're not going to remove them. If you remove them, the car will fall. You can break your axle and all that. We're just going to loosen them just so when it's up in the air, they're free to come off. So maybe about a half a turn or so, just kind of break them loose. And again, if you're doing this on the side of the road, make sure you're cautious to traffic around you because people aren't going to see you bit down next to your car and it could be a little dangerous. So now that it has the tire or the lugs loose, we're going to jack the car up. Remember, whenever you do jack the car up, that if you have a flat tire, that you'll have to jack up higher to put in a tire that's already filled. So don't jack it up thinking, hey, you can get it off, and then your other tire doesn't fit, and you're like, oh, I got the wrong tire. You need to get that clearance. So go ahead and jack it up. And again, you only want to jack it up what's necessary. We're not trying to put a lift kit on it or anything like that, or any kind of lights. So we're really just going to get it up enough to do what we need to do. And another safety tip is, it's on the jack. These things are 100%. They can fall. So try not to keep putting your leg underneath there. If you have a jack stand, which most people are going to carry in their car, I'd put a jack stand in there. But don't trust your jack. But now we got it up, we'll go ahead and remove the lugs. Any questions so far?
So all that should be in your manual, where to put the jack, where your tire iron is and everything?
That is correct. That is correct. And it's also good if you buy a used car, check. Because someone that had the car before you, maybe they took all that out. So before you go on a road trip, before your kids take your car, make sure the spare's in there. Make sure the spare has air in it and all that.
How do you know if you have a special lug?
The special lugs, just the way they're cut. Your normal lugs are like an octagon pattern. They look like a nut that you'd find on the bottom on any kind of, building material. But your security ones are cut in a special way, a special pattern. And then also your tire tool that's in your car, it won't fit on there. So if it doesn't fit on there, you got a special key that you'll need. And again, like I said, leave that in your car if you do have it. There's no reason to keep it at the house. So now in this car, this is a German car. The lugs are lug bolts and they're not lug nuts. The difference is on your ones with lug nuts, there's a stud that sticks out. So when you get all the nuts off, the tire will sit there. Unfortunately with this one, let me see what it is. It has a lug bolt. So as soon as it's out or off, it comes off the car. So, and another thing with your studs is you want to watch out when you're tightening your lugs. If you use your studs, you can break the studs off really easy. But don't worry if you break them off. You guys, you can take them to Hit In or Robinson, they put a new stud on for no big deal. All right, so now we got the tire off. we'll go ahead and get our new tire, which we're gonna use the same tire. And it's just a reverse process. So Doug, if you could, go ahead and put our front tire back on. And again, when he jacked it up, he made sure he had enough clearance to cover a filled tire. The biggest thing I can tell you right now about putting the tire back on is try to gauge where the holes are before you go put it up. There's nothing like holding a tire up, trying to hold it away and line up all the lugs. So while it's on the ground, just kind of look for it, get it up there, and then once you got a hole lined up, go ahead and put a nut on or go put a lug on to hold the tire.
Does it matter what order you put them in on?
When you're putting them on, not necessarily. But when you tighten them, there's a certain pattern you want to follow. Because you don't want to tighten just in a perfect circle, because you could get it on there cattywampus and you'd have a vibration. So again, he's putting on the lugs. Right now he's just going to put them on finger tight. Get them down as far as you can with your fingers. Don't put it on the end and then use the tire tool. Sit there and crank, it'll take forever. So just kind of screw down with your finger as far as you can. Any questions so far about that?
When you get your spare tire on, how far can you drive on the spare tire?
That's a good question. Depending on the tire, a lot of older cars from like the 80s, 70s, 60s had full-size spares. They're normal tires, so you could go almost anywhere. The newer cars now have the throwaway spares. They're only rated, for like 55 miles an hour, and they're usually good for under 100 miles. Again, that information is probably going to be in your manual. But if you do have a donut on there, you do want to make sure that you get an actual tire, put it back on there as soon as possible.
Besides not being able to go above 55, though, it should drive normal with the spare.
It should drive normal. The only difference I've ever noticed is in the rain that you can feel the car moving. So, all right, so he has them all finger tight. Next thing we're going to do is take our tire tool and we're going to go ahead and tighten the lugs. Again, we're not looking to be totally, twist and tight, but we want to make sure they're pretty good. And in the order he's going, it's going to be crisscross. So he started at the bottom, and he's going to go right over, and then from there he's going to go over, and then he'll go back down. So it's a crisscross pattern. We have a star. Okay, so he has them all snug tight. Now he's going to make sure that there's nothing left underneath the car. He'll go ahead and lower the jack. Okay, car's back on the ground. Now that it's back on the ground, we'll take our tire tool. We'll go ahead and tighten these back up. I don't expect everyone to have a torque wrench, but if they do, they want to torque them to whatever the specs are for their car. But we do want to get them as tight as possible because you don't want your tire coming off. So he's going to go, and you kind of feel where it stops, and that was good. You should want to go. So again, any questions on how to change the tire? Everyone feel confident that they can go out and change the tire right now?
I think so.
Okay, I'll go out there and slash the tires, and we'll see how it works out. So thanks, and have a great night.